recap. Howdy. Hey, how's everyone doing? Today's Thursday. Happy Thursday. Almost at the end of the week. Hope you guys are all having a solid start to the week so far. Well, not start of the week. Having a solid week so far. Ending the week strong, hopefully. Market's been interesting this week. We've had some movement. Just not really what I'm used to, but a lot of pre-market movement I've noticed has been on fire this week. But the overall market is kind of crashing and a little bit of turmoil, it seems like. Just got a lot of stuff going on. The government shutdown, potentially, I don't even know when that's supposed to be, but I got that lurking in the background. Debt continuing to increase, just a lot of stuff in the economy. I mean, honestly, though, every report that comes out seems so conflicting right now. They'll be like, oh, the economy's strong, but consumer spending is staying up high. And it's like, well, is that good? I don't know. And then just a bunch of inflation articles. And it just seems like the market is very confused right now. Maybe a little shocked, but it is leading to a lot of volatility in our small cap land. So we're going to go through some charts here, and also go over some swing setups that I'm looking at right now, that I think kind of mimic some of the good runners we've seen over the last couple of months, and just kind of go over why I like that chart pattern. So let's dig on in. Here we are. Let's start over here with SLNO. And in fact, I'm just going to get this whole chart up. So this is one of our runners from a couple of days ago. Looks like they've done some splits in the past, but obviously a former runner. I mean, I don't think this was actually $200 or $750 at the time, but basically went on a multi-day, multi-100% run, starting at the equivalent of $126 a share. And by the second day, it was at the equivalent of $512 a share. So nice multi-day run. It's had days of gap ups and big wicks in the past, although it kind of looks more like a gap and crap. And so I think that probably caught a lot of short sellers, maybe a little bit, just, I don't know, with their pants down a little bit. That first day we had a massive gap up. I don't even remember exactly what the news was. It's a biotech company, but it closed the previous day trading at like 450, gapped up to 21 and hit a high of 30. I mean, just absolute madness, really. And it wasn't like a crazy, obviously, it's basically just $10 a share worth of range after that gap up. It's just that it held lots of halts and ends up consolidating really well in the middle of the day here. And then, making that push to 30. And today we have what kind of appears to be a third day surge, trying at least. It was, I was looking at the 15-minute chart, the multi-day 15-minute chart earlier. And to me, this looked like a head and shoulders pattern, right? So we've got this gap up, shoulder number one, got the head here. And then we just kind of went straight into that resistance, that, again, classic head and shoulders. But as I repeat here a lot, the best bullish pattern is a failed bearish pattern. And if we consolidate, which is exactly what we're doing right now, and kind of perk back through that 25, 26 level, I could see this being a really nice multi-day mover once again, potential breakout through 30. So I'm keeping an eye on it here. We're kind of just forming this intraday trend right now, getting really nice and tight here with the consolidation. And we also had, potentially a good entry right down here at like 23.80, but I'm not in it yet. I'm still keeping a close eye on it. At this point, like to see that 25 break, which was literally that perfect head and shoulders level earlier. It did slightly break through and got very choppy at an expected level. But I could see this continuing its run as long as they don't do like an offering or anything. Float is pretty low, 5.6 million shares, so given how high the stock is, it doesn't need that much volume to continue its run. Definitely a good one to keep an eye on, especially going into tomorrow. And if we don't break by then, just kind of need to see where it's at. It needs to hold $20. I think that is an extremely, extremely key level. Under that, I just don't see this really working, but I could see a potential dip back down to 23 before a breakout. We also had BXRX today. Was an interesting one. Another biotech company gapped up. Not really my style of trade, but there was a nice, kind of, why can't I move here? There we go. Let's make this chart bigger, huh? There we go. Had a nice little consolidation this morning. A tough one just because the candles, they were very wicky. lots of wicks here, right? Just to the upside. And the range wasn't anything too crazy. I mean, it was basically just 7 cents worth of risk or so, 7 to 8 cents worth of risk. But it ended up, running 60 breaks, sent it to 78. So that still would have been a nice, actually exactly 3-to-1 risk reward there. Even just risking low a day with basically a high a day entry. So it was nice. I'm seeing a lot of these dip and rips working right now, but I just haven't noticed enough of them giving great risk reward. BXRX has, would have given that, but I've noticed a lot of these kind of, basically buying that high a day break right out of the open, takes a little dip, sets a high, and taking that buy there, risking low a day. It's definitely worked. I just don't really have the risk reward figured out for these day one gappers right now, but that's definitely one of the most prominent long bias patterns I'm seeing in these day one gappers. But I've also seen a lot of these dips under support or under, making fresh lows, then recovering and breaking out. It's been very choppy. We also had BNOX this morning gapping up like basically 700% at one point by its pre-market high, but by the time it opened, we were up like 500% and it just completely drained out. Basically no bounces in sight until kind of this weird found its bottom underneath $3 and is now trying to work its way back up in that 450 level. The 530 level here where it's stuffed hard, it's going to be a hard area to break if it can make it back up here. This isn't one I am really overly interested in, although it is coming right back up to VWAP. I think this would probably make for a better day two move tomorrow, just based on kind of this weird recovery it's making. Yeah, it could absolutely squeeze today. Again, it's a very low float stock once again. 8.16 million shares. I mean, 8 million share float is like almost a perfect size for me. I don't really love when they get too small. Then they're just too volatile, too much range. But when they start getting like over 20 million, even really over 10 million, they just start moving a little bit differently. And so like this, basically $3 to $10 stocks, or these $3 to $10 stocks in that 5 to 10 million float range are just some of my favorites. So if we could get a nice day two set up tomorrow and holding up over like, right now I'd like to see it hold up over this 350 level. I think that would be a pretty nice hold if we can make sure not to go back down under that. If we do, could it still work? Sure. But the stronger it closes here, the better. And if it breaks out today, it breaks out today and goes without us, or goes without me anyway. It would just be a pretty crazy squeeze. But once again, another biotech company. They're a little bit sketchy. I remember, trading off of the Bitcoin run back in 2017. And, is every time the market would heat up a little bit, or 2018 really, the market would have a couple Bitcoin runners, and then it would like dry up for a few days, and it would just be random biotech runners that would do like midday offerings and all that. So I tend to stay away from them when possible, especially when it comes to like a multi-day setup. But they always do provide pretty good trades when the market isn't doing much else. So going back over to the charts here, AXLA had a nice little first green day attempt today. A tough one to trade. This, first green days, in my opinion, haven't been working phenomenally in the listed space anyways, in like the NASDAQ space. I've seen a lot more fake out first green days that leads to a red move than I have successful first green days, but AXLA was a really nice one. Whoops, lots of halts, it looks like this morning, very low volume. And again, I just don't really see an area to enter here unless you're really early down here in this like really weird micro consolidation. But it's a reverse split. It's one of those ones where it's a micro float stock, under 1 million share float. These are ones traditionally I just try to avoid because they kind of turn into halt fest, chop fest, and are really tough to trade, but they are ones that also offer a lot of range as well. So stocks like this, AXLA, I could see making a couple more kind of bounces down at these levels if we don't hold over 12 over the next few days, but more likely than not, it just keeps draining out. But it is worth noting, these reverse split stocks have been hot lately. We've had a lot of runners that have kind of stemmed off of that, AVGR being one of the bigger ones a week or two ago there, running from like 4 to 14 over the course of a couple days. Really nice move. But just their floats are considerably lower. So again, just really be cautious trading those. Now I want to go over a couple swing setups I'm looking at. I won't go in too much detail, but DWAC here, probably a ticker you haven't heard of or thought of in a while, but this is that Trump stock. The Digital World acquisition was supposed to take Truth Social public. I don't know if it technically is Truth Social and it's just owned under Digital World acquisition. I don't understand what that is because I think it was just the SPAC that took it public, but the Trump stock, Trump's in the news a lot right now. I think he just got hit with like defrauding investors or a bank or something. I don't know the actual charge, but it seems like every time Trump's name pops up in the news, this stock runs. And now that we're going into election, kind of getting closer going into election, I guess next year, but this is when the election campaigns really start ramping up. He's the front runner. I think over the next couple months, this could make a pretty nice move. This reminds me a lot. Actually, I'm going to put up right next to it. This reminds me a lot of NEGG before it kind of went crazy and for much different reasons, but kind of looking at these two charts here side to side. Let's zoom out a little bit more. There we go. Well, almost. Okay, so we had this big run back here, ramp up, big fake out dip and consolidation, led to a massive, massive run. DWAC, very similar. Now, this obviously came from like 140 once upon a time, but a lot of range here, weird trap candles on these dips. It looks like someone might be loading up, and I just kind of see an inverse head and shoulders pattern here as well. Shoulder, head, and that shoulder, which could provide a good risk level. I've got a very small starter in this from actually this day right here down at like 1620 or 1630. And definitely looking to continue to add into that. But again, very small size right now. I could see this taking some time to play out. TTOO obviously is kind of fallen apart. This was a really nice multi-day runner a while back, and now it's just falling off after its gap up. Just got slammed. And this is what I'm talking about. These first green day attempts that just get slaughtered. Tries first green day here, tries it here, and tries it here once again. And it just keeps getting clobbered down. But it's important to take a look kind of at what this chart development was leading up to the big multi-day run. And I think a stock like MULN, which is just a piece of crap company, extremely dilutive, not good. It's setting up in a very similar fashion, though, where we had that kind of walk down after breaking fresh new lows, one big pop. And it's now just kind of making this really nice consolidation. And I would be interested in a move over this trend break line here. And basically would use a 38 cent as our risk level, just that's that daily chart low, and look to take that through. Ideally, I think I could see this going to $1 or $2, on a successful bounce. But for now, I'm still waiting for this trend break to happen. It's bleeding out quite a bit, waiting to see if that thesis is panning out. And then one more I really like is LIFW. This is a runner, a sub-dollar penny stock, NASDAQ runner from a few days, about a week ago. And it's just consolidating really nice on the daily chart, decent volume coming in, a lot of resistance, very clear levels at 25 here, in my opinion. 25 cents is that trigger spot. If we can break through that 25 cent level here in the next day or two, I could see this curling and potentially ripping through 30 cents. Now, this does have a pretty high float, but it's just so cheap. It's just such a cheap stock, super beaten down. Realistically, I don't see this running to like $1 or anything, but I could see a 50 to 60 cent push on this. So that's one more of those that I'm looking at here for a bounce potential swing over the next couple of days. And yeah, that's basically what I have for today. So I just wanted to thank you all for joining. Sorry, it's been a while, but I am back in Austin. So decided we would stop by the studio and film a bit. Next week, I'll probably be back home in New York filming this here, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Let me know down below what stocks you guys are watching right now, especially as this market is becoming more volatile and crashing a bit. It could lead to some really great swing opportunities, especially in that small cap space. So comment down below if you're watching anything big for a swing trade and just how you've been doing this week, how the market's been treating you. Hopefully you guys have all been doing well. Leave a comment, leave a like, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and turn on those post notifications. I'll see you back here next week. Trader Bryce out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for being a part of the Stocks to Trade family. We just hit 100,000 subscribers, but our goal by the end of this year is to get 150,000 new family members a part of our channel. So if you haven't already, be sure to hit that like button, comment down below, hit the subscribe button, and maybe even turn on your post notifications. We cannot do this without your guys' support. So thank you so much. And if you want to see more of what we're doing, again, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and comment down below. We'll see you in the next video.